Yeah, did you want to do manual throttles on the approach here?
What do you think is good for me based on what you're seeing?
You can certainly try it if you like.
I'll try it.
Alright. I'm going to activate the approach mode here. See how you got the 2 diamonds now?
Yeah.
See how that diamond just turned pink?
Yeah.
That means we're now following the glide path, and you can see that up there. We got glide slope activated. See how see how it says LNAV up there?
Yes, sir.
We're still following the GPS for left and right, but you can see the VOR, that localizer, is armed there. So in a little bit, once that diamond comes over, you're going to see it turn pink. That'll go green for VOR localizer, and we're going to be fully lined up on that ILS approach.
Okay.
Now, it's probably going to switch over to the localizer before we make this turn. And when that happens, that flight director is probably going to ask you to make a left turn. Don't follow it. Look at your map. You can see that we're eventually going to make a right turn up there. So don't follow it to the left, or that'll just make it more difficult to make your right turn.
So follow the magenta line.
Yep. Yeah, if you want to, you can already start turning to the right just ahead of it, if you like. There it goes. And pull back just a little bit. See how that diamond's a little bit above you there.
Yeah, you're going to lose lift when you bank.
Yep. Keep turning a little bit more. And we're a little fast right now, so this turn is a perfect spot to do a steeper bank angle, lose some airspeed here. I'll put out a notch of flaps for you as we lose some speed. Now, the flight director usually isn't too precise in our descent, so you can pull back a little bit more, keep pulling back. But on the ILS approach, it is very precise. So turn hard to the left, and push forward as you get the lift in the wings. There you go. If you keep it dead on top of that flight director, I promise you, you will hit the runway perfectly. You pull back a little bit, because that's about as far down as you want to go.
Okay.
I'm going to get the gear down for you as well.
Okay.
Help slow you down early.
Thank you. What's maximum gear down speed on this?
270. Well, that's to extend the gear. We can go up to 320 with the gear down, but you probably don't want to do that. Bring a little bit to the left there. Now, when do you want to take over on the throttles?
If you were doing it manually, at what point would you? Right now or later on?
I mean, I'd probably just do it right now.
Go for it.
All right, so I'll turn the auto throttle off for you. You can put your hands on the throttles now like how you would in a Cessna. There's your RPM gauges up there, if you need those. Typically 40% will hold your final approach speed once you have landing flaps set.
Okay.
We're going to do a flap 30 approach. 139 knots is the slowest speed you want to fly. That is our VREF, 139. VREF is a speed that allows us to have 30 degrees of bank while maintaining our altitude without stalling the plane. It keeps you 30% above stall speed. So if you go below VREF, you might accidentally stall the airplane if you try to turn.
So 139 is the stall speed if I bank.
Well, yeah, if you bank while trying to hold your altitude. So don't go below VREF.
And that's 139.
Yep, and it gives you a little reference there as well.
Okay.
You can see it says ref right there.
And what is my, if I'm on final, what is my final approach target speed?
Whenever we're in calm winds, like it is right now, which is no wind, the target speed is going to be 144 today. We always come in a minimum of 5 knots faster than VREF.
144.
So 144.
Alright, so you just gave me some flaps, so I'm slowing down. I got more drag. Let's see where that's going to land me, but I might have to back off the throttle, I imagine.
Well, 40% throttle should hold you roughly around VREF once I put flaps 30 out there in a second.
Okay, you did say that.
So, yeah, just trying to keep it slowing down like it is. Once we get slowed down to VREF, the nose up angle you want is going to be about 2 degrees nose up. So we actually already come down to the runway in the flare.
Okay. Yeah, flare timing is going to be different in this baby, isn't it?
Yep. Pull back a little bit.
And I got to fly the nose down, right? I don't just pull back and let the nose glide down.
Well, yeah, you fly it to the runway. Don't let the nose drop into the ground. That's for sure.
So in other words, you don't just pull back like you do in the Cessna. You push forward.
No.
To get the nose to come down.
No, don't push it forward. If you push it forward, it will slam into the ground real hard.
Okay.
You just want to you want to use the back pressure here and just ease it onto the runway. You just fly it to the ground.
Okay.
But yeah, no, if you push forward on the yoke, it'll just slam straight into the ground. Especially if you hit the brakes. Which, speaking of, you put your feet on the rudder pedals. Flaps 30 are set right now, so I don't know if you want to. You can probably take out a bit of power. Yeah, you're up at 44%. That's why we're not slowing down. and go back to idle.
All the way as far as it goes?
Yep, all the way to idle.
Okay.
Which will put you about 35% there on the power. Just once you start getting around like 50%, 150 knots, then just add a little bit of power back in. But just focus outside really at this point. You're doing a good job on the flight rigs, but there's your runway right there. Just look outside, fly it like how you would assess now. Just turn a little bit to the left, get it lined up here at the corner where your right leg. Give it a little bit of power because there's 145 coming in. Don't worry about the glide slope more. That just means we're a little bit low. You can see the package there, mostly red. But don't worry about that. Just push forward. Just focus on your 1,000-foot marks. Push it forward. Those shouldn't go underneath our nose. Yep, right there. That's good.
Minimums.
Right there. There you go. Alright. Might want to add a little touch of power. There you go. A little bit to the left. Don't pull back more than that. Hold it down. Push forward. If you're holding this up too high, back to idle. Hold it right there. Don't pull back anymore. Hold it right there. There you go. Take your reverse thrust handles. Lift those up. There you go. Yep, just like that. Nice and smooth down to the runway. Alright. Now, hold the brakes down. You don't have to slam them down. We don't want to set them on fire. Close the reverse thrust. Push them down.
That was too aggressive.
Yeah, probably. Probably. But hold it right in the brakes. We're still up at like 40 knots here. We don't want to celebrate too soon and roll off the end of the runway.
Yeah, that's good.
But
left or right?
we're not going to exit the runway here.
Okay.
We haven't talked about how to taxi the plane yet, so just bring it to a full stop. Because we actually don't taxi the airplane with the rudder.
Use the tiller.
Yep, which is over there. You take your parking brake, and you can bring that up, wait for the red light. Just hold that up. Red light comes on. If you want to take your flaps handle here, lift that up to 15 degrees. Or actually, I don't know. You can bring the flaps up there for after landing. There's a flap guard there. Actually, go up to 5 or something like that for now. We're going to either use flaps 5 or takeoff or flaps 15. I'm not too sure we want. And then to get your speed brake down on this airplane, you actually just bump the throttles, the actual throttle knob, up to where the speed brake lever is, and then straight back to idle. Now put your speed brake back down. So there you go. Back to idle. Yep, there you go. That's how you do that. The reason why you just go straight back to idle, you probably don't want to like slam it too hard. It's just mostly just like so you don't start rolling forward by adding too much power. Just click back up, back down.
Okay.
But anyway, there you go. And then also flight directors, we'll get those off. You bring that down. There you go. And then when we do our next flight, we'll reset all of that.
So give me feedback on my landing. What did I do wrong?
What did you do wrong? I mean, main one is we were a little bit low at one point. You know, you saw that there at the end. In real life, I don't know, that might have been a go around or something like that. But,
Okay.
you know, we were a little bit, you know, right at one point of center line. Really, the main thing, though, is we flared a little bit early in this airplane, so we floated quite a bit. We also held the nose off a little too high. So we flared a little early and we held the nose off, so we ate up quite a bit of runway. In this airplane, you almost hold the angle that you have on final approach and just raise it by like 1 degree at like 20 feet or so and just fly it straight into the ground.
A lot different than
Yeah, so yeah, it's a lot different. Then of course, since we didn't have a lot of runway left, we held down the brakes real hard, and I don't think we set them on fire, but they're definitely a little toasted. That's for sure. The passengers in real life would have been like, "Whoa!"
Oh, and
you know.
moving forward.
Yeah.
Where's the auto brake thing?
Oh, that's right there.
Just we had it off. Okay.
Yeah, we had it off, but
Okay.
yeah, we should have used that in real life as well. But,
Fair.
but other than that, I mean, you did pretty good.
What about my speed management on final? I was about 143, I think. 140.
Yeah, you were acceptable on your speed, I think.
But just really poor on my flare. I need
Yeah,
to improve my flare.
Yeah, you were a little fast on final approach. We were up at 160, but that's just because you had a little bit too much power in, but you corrected for that. You got it down to an appropriate to airspeed for what you needed.
Okay.
I mean, just a little more practice. I think you're picking this up pretty quick.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, what do you want to do for your next thing here? We can either take off and basically just do the same thing that you just did, fly over to San Francisco, you take off, fly to cruise, hold your altitude, do the approach, land, and that'd probably be all your time. Or do you want to stay in like this area here and fly the plane around, try different air speeds, do like touch and goes and that sort of stuff?
The latter.
All right. Perfect. Since you want to stay here, normally we'd teleport you to the end of the runway, switch you all around and do all that. But since you want to stay here, do you want to do like the long taxi back to the end, or do you want me to teleport you around and just take off?
What's the time difference? How much flight time will I eat up by doing a taxi?
That'd probably be like 5-10 minutes.
I'll do a taxi.
Oh, you want to do the taxi?
Yeah, I'll do
See
it.
what that's like. All right, that tiller wheel, don't move it because that is directly connected to the nose wheel. If you move that in real life, that would scrub all the tread off the tires because we're a real heavy jet. Maintenance isn't going to like you.
Like an old school car that didn't have power steering. You got to be rolling to turn it.
Right. I mean, there is some power steering in there. It's not going to be that heavy, but
the rudders is like plus or minus 20%, I think, left to right 20, whereas this, or 20 degrees, whereas this is more like 80.
Yep. Yeah, you can get about, I think, 10, 20 degrees out of the rudders in this airplane at low speed. And that's actually how you're steering at low speed when we're taking off. However, by the time we hit 80 knots, all of that fades away, and it's purely just using the airflow in this airplane.
Okay.
So once we get below 80 knots, you'll actually see in real life, if you watch any videos of them landing, roughly around 80 knots or so, you'll actually see the captain will grab the tiller wheel so that he can control direction while on the landing there. Now, when we move that is very sensitive. You can see there, you got left and right. It goes up to 90 degrees.
Oops, I should get doing it.
Oh, don't worry, you're in the simulator. I don't care about that. But you can feel how light it is, though, right? I mean,
yeah.
The power steering's fairly good. So when we move that, you want to move that very slow and controlled, or else it will do real snappy turns.
Gotcha.
When we go left and right, everyone will think we're drunk.
Finesse.
Exactly. The brakes are still the brake pedals, though. Up here, this is your ground speed. Whenever we make a sharp corner, like what we're about to do here, beyond 90 degrees, you want to be at about 10 knots.
Okay.
When you touch the brakes in this airplane, they're very sensitive, too. See, when you use the brakes, it's like a light tap, like that. Like, that's all you need. And then also, if you're watching the ground speed while you're braking, like, let's say you're up at 15, 20 knots, something like that, and you're trying to brake to 10, hold the brakes down, like, just like, again, a little tap of the brakes, until you see like 15 or 12 or something like that, and then release the brakes a little bit early, and it's going to slow down a little bit beyond where you release the brakes.
There's always a lag.
Yep. Also, when you add in power, it's just like a little bit. Like if you bump the throttles up, you basically just go up, back down. That's all you need if you ever need power. And then from there, you might actually have to ride the brakes a little bit after adding the throttles, or else it will take off quite fast.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to try making a left turn here.
Alright.
Also, again, the airplane is real long. You want to bring it out nice and wide, like pretend you're driving like a semi-truck or something like that.
Keep the nose on that yellow line, roughly speaking?
The center of the plane over the yellow line.
Yeah.
So there you go, back to idle. That's already enough power, back to idle. Yeah. There you go. See how fast the ground speed starts picking up? And we don't want to turn just yet. Cockpit actually overhangs the nose wheel by 13 feet. There you go. Now you can start turning, maybe tap a little bit on that left brake to slow us down in the turn. Hold it all the way to the left, by the way, the tiller wheel. You might have to tap the left brake while you're up. Just hold the left tiller wheel all the way down. We've gone off the taxiway at this point.
Oh, this is not the taxiway?
Oh, yeah.
That's it back there. That's
Yeah.
the old short line.
Yep. I guess we'll just cut through this area here. I'm guessing this must have been like an old taxiway at one point. Hopefully air traffic control's not looking at us right now.
Yeah. I heard. But I didn't realize it required to be that sharp. I'm sorry.
No, you're all right. There you go. But yeah, you can see how touchy everything is.
Yeah.
Gotta be nice and slow. Nice and smooth.
Do you use tiller wheel in addition to the brake, the rudder brake?
I use the tiller wheel up until it hits its limit, and then if I need to, then I add brake.
Okay. So you use all the authority of the tiller wheel before using brake.
Exactly. Now, if I'm going into a turn and I know I'm going a little fast, then I'll tap, the corresponding brake that I need to the turn. But generally speaking, you try to slow down before you turn.
Didn't want too fast.
I mean, you can go as fast really as you want here in the straightaway. You can go up to 35 knots if you want to.
Oh.
Yeah. No one here is going to... And then I guess really, we're in the simulator. If you wanted to go all the way up even faster than that, no one's going to pull you over.
Well, I want to try to recreate reality.
Yeah.
I think in the Cessna, the people will say a fast walk.
Fast walk.
I don't know if that means the same. If that's the same kind of anecdotal guidance in a jetliner.
No, you can go up to 35 knots. That's a pretty fast walk. That's a fast run. You're going faster than Usain Bolt right there. So, now if you're Delta, you you taxi nice and slow at like 15. If you're southwest, you taxi right at that limit. So that's really just up to you, personal preference sort of thing there.
Depends on how cost conscious the management is, huh?
Exactly.
Should be my right leg on that yellow line.
Yep, right leg. Yeah, you're doing pretty good with that.